Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today, I have a Gun Gripe episode for you, and I have a special guest co-hosting today's Gun Gripe. We got Matt here.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, boy.
I'm back.
All right. So, as you know, Matt is my co-host on the podcast, Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit. We post every Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the morning. So if you ever want to watch our podcast, little shout out to our podcast, but Matt decided to stick around a little bit today and cut some gun gripes with me. So today's episode, look, y'all, we're going to be talking about the girl on the train, okay? Now, I know that this subject matter is sensitive to some. It does involve some very heinous acts, but we want to kind of dive into this because we want to discuss, for one, yes, it's a gun channel. Guns are extremely important. Protective posture is extremely important. We're going to talk about some of the political leanings in this situation, but also some of the logistical things like, what in the world you would do in some situation like that. So we're going to just look at this pragmatically and we'll get into it. Before we get started, I do want to thank our friends at Patriot Supply for supporting today's Gun Gripe. September is National Preparedness Month. So it's the perfect time to ask yourself some questions like, how much food do you have on hand for emergencies? How would you get clean water if the tap went dry tomorrow? What would you do if a storm knocked out the power for a week? If you're anything like me, there's some room for improvement on this stuff. Luckily, our friends at Patriot Supply are making disaster preparedness easier and more affordable than ever by giving you over $1,500 worth of emergency food and preparedness gear for free. They just launched their Preparedness Month Mega Kit, and it includes a full year of emergency food, a water filtration system that can purify almost any water source, and a solar backup generator, plus a lot more. And here's the best part. If you go to mypatriotsupply.com/LLP, you can get 90 preparedness essentials totaling over $1,500 absolutely free. Head to mypatriotsupply.com/LLP for full details. That's mypatriotsupply.com/LLP. That's Lima Papa for more information. And a big thanks to My Patriot Supply. You can also check for the link down in the description box below this video. So, unless you guys have been living under a rock, you guys know that, this stabbing is a really ridiculously crazy thing. And this poor girl, she's from Ukraine and she's came over to America for a better life and working at a pizza place, riding some public transportation to get home. Sounds like a pretty cut and dry sort of situation.
Pretty normal.
Average type of thing. Well, guy in the back of the train decides to rip her in the neck with a knife a few times and kill her. Okay. Very terrible. Very terrible. But it doesn't really just stop there. It's not as simple as just some terrible, random, heinous crime as it might sound like. So, Matt, I know we discussed this a little bit in today's podcast, but what makes this situation so jacked up?
The biggest thing to me was that the mayor of the city deliberately asked the media to withhold the information, so not to report on it. No, I'm just going to name and shame. Her name is Vi Lyles. So she specifically said, please don't report on this to her, crony media partners. And it didn't work. It got out. People saw what happened, and it's heinous. When you watch the video, it's even more sad because, you could tell this person is a diagnosed schizophrenic. They have an existing rap sheet, which includes, I will just go ahead and read it off, larceny, robbery with a weapon, aggravated assault. This person has been arrested multiple times. Mm-hmm. They were apparently out on a promissory note. The judge said, hey, I trust you. There's no bond. Just please promise to come back.
Sign a note, promise you'll come
back for the court case. And it's crazy I felt so bad because I was watching this video and this poor girl sits down, minds her own business, and you can see this guy look up at her and just calculate. He just literally looks at her, and then he reaches in his pocket, pulls out a pocket knife, and stabs her. And it's sad, man.
It's very sad. And we always hate to see these things happen. And the last thing that I would ever want to do, I never want to politicize a tragic event, because we know one side of the political equation, they really love to do that in strides. And I don't ever want to be accused of trying to politicize something and to have some gotcha moment. That is never my idea to ever do in a gun gripe episode. So it's obviously very tragic and it's terrible. But the truth is, these things happen a lot more often than you would think. Now, let's just say maybe not within the context of this particular situation where we had the mayor who didn't, want them to report on it as much. They wanted to kind of hide it and keep it hush hush because they were worried it would upset too many people or whatever.
Yep.
Or a judge who wanted to let someone off with a slap on the wrist, and we end up seeing a career criminal now coming out and doing some terrible, heinous thing. That's what makes the situation so uniquely screwed up, right? So what I want to kind of pivot to is, what are some of the things? So if you are going to be riding public transportation, now again, this is a gun gripe. So this is within the context of personal protection, defending yourself, using your rights and responsibilities to their highest effective measure. So for one, you would probably never want to sit on public transportation and sit in the middle like that. Like, you really want to have your back as far back as possible. So like sitting in the back is good if you are going to ride public transportation, because then you can see everyone in front of you. No one can come up behind you, that sort of thing. You can see the exits, identify the exits, know where the exits are. So again, I'm not scrutinizing this poor girl, because look, she's a girl. Girls don't always think that way. They're just girls. Like, they want to be a girl and look at your phone and just be happy and do your thing and go home and have your evening, So I'm not saying that everyone should always just have to be in this kind of defensive, defensive posture. But I'm simply trying to provide for some of you who do ride these types of, let's just say public transportation, having your back all the way to the back and being able to see everybody in front of you is probably a good first step for sure. I mean, Carry a gun. I mean, you need to be armed.
Yeah.
Some of those public transportation may not allow guns. Who cares? Dead's dead.
Yeah.
I'd rather be judged by 12 and carried by 6. I'm not telling people to break the law, but I'm just saying that a sign is a suggestion. If the sign says no guns, well, yeah, the sign, if there was a sign that said no murder, would that have stopped him?
That's right.
I mean, look, just being pragmatic here. I mean, if I'm armed, I can be alive.
Yeah.
And if I'm alive, I can stand up. I can answer for my actions if I'm alive. But if I'm not alive, it doesn't matter, does it?
Well, you said something that came out that might have been like a Freudian slip, is standing up. When I don't normally ride public transportation, but when I do, I choose to stand. That gives me the ability to keep a good posture. I can usually keep my back against the wall. And I get it, guys. Nobody is going to be the one that's kind of like, that your quintessential like bro vet, where they're like back against the wall and you're constantly scanning around the room and you're trying to locate all the exits. Sometimes that's not necessary. You're in a train car, but keep your back against the wall if you can. Me personally, I stand just one, so I can get to my firearm faster. And two, it allows you to kind of be able to look around and have a little bit more self-awareness and situational awareness as well. But if you just look at, maybe she was just tired, man. Like, she works. Maybe you get home, like, you don't want to be on your feet. Maybe you spent the whole day on your feet. She came from a war zone.
Yeah.
You come to America, fleeing a war zone. You're not thinking, oh man, I better watch out. I'm going to get stabbed in the neck. No, you're thinking that you are in the safest country in the world. Granted, coming from Ukraine, where you're getting actively bombed. But the biggest failure here was that this guy has been arrested 14 times. That is 13 opportunities to this girl could have lived. Yeah. Somewhere along those 14 arrests, he shouldn't have came back out.
That's crazy to me. Like, the idea that a career criminal can exist. To me, the thought of that is absolutely crazy. I mean, when you think back in the day, back in 1791 when our Second Amendment was adopted in 1791. In 1791, if you stole someone's horse, you're going to get killed. You're going to get hung.
Absolutely.
A horse thief would
That was
get
the
hung.
worst. That was the worst type of thief. Was
a horse thief would get hung.
Yes.
A criminal, okay, the town drunk. No, they're not gonna hang the town drunk. They understood that. They understood that there were certain crimes that were like kind of, for the most part, sort of innocent. Yeah, someone's being lewd in public. They're pissing in public or yelling and being crude. That's not a reason to hang someone.
You might get beat up, but
right. You might get beat up, absconded, but you're not going to get hung, right? But like the idea that you steal someone's horse, you're getting hung.
Yeah.
Or if you hurt somebody bad, you shoot somebody, you kill somebody, justice is coming for you. We were a land of justice. And yes, extreme freedom, but also extreme responsibility. Like, hey, yes, we're giving you a huge leash. Be as free as you want. Do what you want. But if you think you're going to steal that guy's horse or steal that guy's cattle or, rob someone or rape someone or kill someone, no, we're coming for you. And the long arm of justice is going to get you out of here. And we had a much more pragmatic approach to law enforcement back then. It was just like, all right, we're going to delete these people from society. Like if you can't be responsible and you're going to hurt someone, you're going to do a bunch of dumb crap and put people's livelihoods and lives at risk, we're going to deal with you. We used to do that. So not so much anymore. It's like we've become so lenient on violent criminals. And you would have never heard of the idea of a career criminal back at the time of our founding. No way.
Well,
they weren't alive to be a career criminal. They were out of here.
Well, even a couple of years ago, they had 3 strike laws. So this 14-time arrest, he would have never made it past 3.
Yeah.
He'd be in federal prison.
Yeah.
Federal prison. And this
for a long stint.
and this young girl would be alive right now. But instead, that 3 strikes thing got struck down. Now you have career criminals that are being arrested multiple times, cashless bond. They're out on promissory notes. No,
basically a political system that favors criminals.
Yes.
And there's no other way to call it, Matt. That's what it is. And that is what failed this young girl. Not her own intuition. It's not at a woman's place to be in an extreme masculine stance anymore. We're a civilized country. Like men are men and women are women. That's the way I view it anyway. Now, of course, there might be some confused people out there, but in my view, it's a man's job to protect the women. And I will say there were a lot of people on that train didn't do anything. And that is crazy to me. Like I could not imagine seeing something like that go down and not like throw that some bitch out the window or do something.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit there and watch. No way. I mean, and that's just not in our nature as men to act that way, And it's just crazy to think that something so violent and heinous can happen in society so quickly and people just freeze. Like we've become very, inept. Like we just seem to just have this staring at our phone thing all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's not healthy. Got to be situationally aware of the things that are going on around you and know that danger can come from anywhere. And even if it's a place you perceive as safety, that danger can still exist. And it's tragic and I hate to hear it. And I feel so sorry for, that girl's family and all the people involved. And I'm very angry about this miscarriage of justice. This judge just letting these people off with a slap on the wrist. That's got to stop. And that person needs to be held accountable. That judge needs to be held accountable because she owns a halfway house. She has partial ownership in a halfway house that guy was in. So,
she's getting paid.
Oh yeah. So she was getting paid from some halfway house situation or some rehabilitational type of situation that she had ownership in. I ended up seeing that come out too. So
that's crazy.
There's something far more reaching than simply just, we're letting this person off the slap on the wrist. There was probably some financial gain wrapped up in there somewhere. And there's a lot of that going on with these judges, dude. Like there's situations where judges have ownership in private prisons.
Yes.
All this sort of shady stuff where they're kind of getting greased. Their palms are getting greased at all steps of the situation. That's not something we should support.
Absolutely not. It's very similar to what you see with like prosecutors not wanting to lose a case, even though that person probably shouldn't walk. They don't want to mess up their win-loss record. So
I know it's crazy. So we're going to end today's show. I just wanted to kind of do, quick gun gripe here to kind of talk about this. Because what do you guys think? I mean, what do you think should happen to these guys? that they let go like this. These career criminals, if they go out and they do something horrible like this, what should happen to the judge that let them off? Should they be accountable? What should happen to these guys? Should they go straight to the freaking, guillotine?
Wood chipper.
Yeah. What should happen to these people? What should we do? What would your answer be? I think the answer is for more people to carry guns, more people to be, situationally aware and be aware of their rights and responsibilities. I mean, of course, my answer is going to be carry a dang gun and sit at the back of the bus and keep your head on a swivel. But not everyone is in the mental state to be that way. I understand that. What would you do? I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comment section below. And again, a huge thanks to our sponsor today, and that's My Patriot Supply. So make sure you check out the link below and show some support. And a big thanks to Matt for showing up and hanging out on today's Gun Gripe.
Hey, man, extra time.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Many more videos on the way, and we'll see you soon.